Welcome back everyone to another game of old school Magic the Gathering, and today we have a top 16 elimination or bracket match that was from the July 2023 X Point event. So this was an awesome matchup, and this month I was running kind of a mono white build. We're going to dig into the deck tech. The deck is also linked in the description below if you want to see the deck list. And if you want to just skip right to the game, the description is also in the comment below. So I hope you have fun watching this top 16 game. And here is the X Point White Weenie or mono white deck I was running this month. So, the core strategy of the deck is to play out lots of small creatures. That could be the Javelineer from Fallen Empires, White Knight, Savannah Lion, probably your best turn one play. Banishing Hero, and you have things like the Blacksmith with protection from red. And basically just, every turn you're dropping a creature and putting pressure on your opponent. And you can, of course, increase the toughness of these creatures with Crusade, which gives all white creatures 1/1. This does include your opponent's creatures, but if they're not playing white, that's not a problem. And of course, Army of Allah, which I feel like has just won me so many games at this point. Absolutely love this card. So each attacking creature gets +2/+0. So if you have 4 creatures attacking, you're looking at an extra 8 damage coming in across those creatures. I don't see all the lists running Army of Allah, and I think they should, but it's been great for me. I'm definitely going to keep it in future iterations of the deck. I will say the one area where I'm questioning the deck a bit is I was running 2 Serra Angels. Certainly a 4/4 with Vigilance or 5/5 with Vigilance if you have a Crusade out is powerful, but really the deck wins through its little creatures, its Knights and Savannah Lions and so forth, and just having more creatures than your opponent. The Serra Angel is just such a target for a counter spell, a Swords to Plowshare and removal, and tapping the 5 mana for it. Certainly possible if you were able to get your land tax going early and you have a bunch of extra lands in your hand, but the Serra Angel, although it's an iconic card, I might go down to just 1 or just put them in the sideboard for future tournaments. Finally, I just went with 1 copy of Preacher in the main board just to kind of mix up some of the games, and then it's always fun, of course, to steal one of your opponent's creatures and then just get to attack with it to add to your army. I will note I only ran 2 Swords to Plowshares and 3 Disenchants in the main board, mostly just to get more creatures in. I have an extra sword and Disenchant, Divine Offerings in the sideboard to bring in if I need to post sideboard, but usually in game 1 I'm going just fully for the aggro strategy, at least with this version of the build. Now in the sideboard I definitely got maybe a little too cute, but I do run some red and blue wards to give my creatures protection from a certain color. I did play a opponent with a Shivan Dragon out and had my Pegasus out, and it was like, man, if I could just get my red ward, I could block the dragon, but was not able to actually draw them. I find they're fun cards that could be unexpected, but certainly not considered terribly competitive, but I do enjoy the wards. Of course, Karma to just totally, hose some mono black decks. Holy Lights to take out, Birds of Paradises and Llanowar Elves and any other little creatures that are out there. And before I forget, the last card I want to highlight was running 2 Wrath of God's main boards. Usually you see Armageddon in these decks, but I think the Wrath of God kind of is an emergency if my opponent gets out 2 large creatures, a Momodes or 2 Juzum Djinns. I can kind of just wipe the board and start over. Usually will hold some creatures back in my hand if I know I'm going to Wrath, so you could Wrath, clear the board, and then drop 2 Banishing Heroes and kind of start your attack again. So I personally like the more aggressive Wrath of God style, but certainly when you're looking at other mono white decks, a lot of them will have 2 Armageddons, which at X Point are pointed cards in this slot. So I had a lot of fun playing this version of mono white. Definitely some tweaks I'll make for future tournaments, but this is definitely a fun one if you're looking to play some X Point. Alrighty, let's jump into the match here. And here is the opening hand that I kept. So mono white on the bottom. Only 1 plains, but you can play out both your Savannah Lions, have a factory for a threat, can also play out land tax with the 1 plains. And if we draw onto a second plane, the Pump Knight will be ready to go, and a Wrath of God for maybe a couple turns from now. So seeing Savannah and Birds, you're probably looking at the white-green deck that runs Armageddon and Erhnamgeddon as the first impression here. And we know with 2 Savannah Lions in hands, we could just sit here on this 1 Plains for a little bit. Although the Birds of Paradise does play around land tax well. We will see. And the Chaos Orb, very good play. Of course, land tax, also if you are able to land tax, you could hold, if you suspect an Armageddon, hold some lands in your hand and wait for Armageddon and rebuild your mana base pretty quickly. So land tax has many advantages. Good in many situations. And here is the other Savannah Lion. And the question is, do you flip the orb on the land tax? Apparently, no, because you have a disenchant. So there goes the land tax. Okay. And a Swords to Plowshare, one of those Savannah Lions. And there comes the third one. Well, third one this game. Second one out again. Right into the Erhnam, and there he is. So you could tell based on the turn 1 Birds of Paradise play this was coming. Of course, Mono White does have Swords to Plowshares, Maze of Ith in here, and other ways to deal with this. Okay, third Savannah Lion, or the fourth this game, 3 at once. So now, of course, if the opponent attacks with the Djinn, they're going to open themselves up for a big attack with the Factory as well. They have to give 1 creature Forest Walk, so that will be the Savannah Lion on the left. So at this point, if they keep, okay, and a Serra Angel, right, they have the mana now to just play Erhnamgeddons and Serras and overpower the White Weenie deck here if they still holding on to the Chaos Orb. So this Savannah Lion has Forest Walk, so it is unblockable. Banishing Hero. And here, still on the 1 Plains on the bottom, so we know there's a Pump Knight in hand that could come out, and a Wrath of God, which cannot be played, because Wrath of God requires a 2nd white. Another Erhnamgeddon. So definitely looking to top deck the additional Plains, and then immediately playing Wrath of God, because there are some juicy targets on the other side of the board. For now, though, just attacking with the Forest Walk creature. And banding will always still slightly confuse me, but if you band with the Savannah Line here, you can still be blocked even though one of the creatures has Forest Walk, because the other creature being banded does not. Okay, let's attack just with the Serra Angel for 4. Oh, and a Llanowar Elf. So this player, you could just sit back and attack with the Angel here. A couple more turns. Down to 10. I love the patience with the Chaos Orb. Doesn't need it. And yeah, for the rules question, both these Erhnams can give Forest Walk to the same creature, so they're both targeting the Banishing Hero, which will keep coming in and chipping for 1. Javelineer. Still no second white source. And attacking with 1 Erhnam. I mean, you could make a case here for just attacking with the Erhnams every turn to start cleaning out the board of the white weenie creature. There's a chump block with the Savannah Lion. Okay, and there is the second Plains. Javelineer can throw its javelin at any target for 1 damage, so targeting the player. Attacking with the Forest Wall creature. And then, there you go. Clean the board out. And they do not run any type of counter spell in these decks, in these white-green decks. Okay, and Wrath of God to me works well in the white weenie shell, especially here with 2 factories, which are immediate threats that can start attacking. The opponent is going to regrowth though, so do you regrowth the Serra Angel or the Erhnamgeddon would be the decision. Probably the Serra, yeah. Oh, he's gonna go with the Ernie. Okay, to cast it this turn. The Serra, they would have to wait till next turn, but it does have the flying. Okay, and there's the second Wrath of God. And the Plains. And of course, you could just keep playing Erhnamgeddon. That is a viable strategy. Okay, 5 mana, of course. Serra Angel could be cast here. I guess that would be the... Oh, that's the best play here. And there is the Pump Knight from the opening hand, finally making its appearance, as well as the Blacksmith. Protection from red, not going to be relevant in this game. The Blacksmith blocking the Erhnamgeddon, and then the Savannah Lion. These graveyards are getting filled with creatures pretty quickly. There's a White Knight, 2/2 first strike, protection from black. And just passing turn. Still has 2 factories. Okay, Swords to Plowshare on the Ernie. That should be exiled and not put in the graveyard, but I don't think is really gonna... No one's casting any more Time Twisters or anything. So here, certainly you could... Serra Angel coming out with a Maze of Ith. So Maze of Ith stops any other Serras, and they are finally going to get flip the orb on the Serra, and there they go. The orb was patiently waiting that entire game. And top decking Crusade, that's a big one, although it does boost the Savannah Lion. So Savannah Lion able to kill either the Pump Knight or the Factory. And yeah, it doesn't matter if it's pumped or not, but they will both die. Swords to Plowshare. So basically what happened there was the Savannah Lion blocked the Factory, and the Pump Knight got swords. And we're back down to, after all of that, yep, past turn. Just the single White Knight left. Although with the Crusade, that's a 3-turn clock. You'll see what they draw. Okay, Factory, committing the Factory again. Another Disenchant. Yeah, Disenchant. So, coming in for 3. 2 turns. I can easily draw into even a Birds of Paradise to block and get an extra turn. Attacking with the White Knight. Okay, and there is a Bird's Paradise. Jump block, buys another turn. Okay, Banishing Hero, so now playing out 1 creature, not enough, because there's at least 2 damage coming in. And that's it. Yeah, I don't even know what, unless they also had a Wrath of God, or some type of board wipe there. I mean, White Weenie just relentlessly plays out lots of creatures and keeps attacking. So we'll go to game 2. The opening hand here was awkward. It was mull to 6, keeping 6 lands. Strip Mine, 3 Factories, 2 Plains. Of course, on the play, so drawing into a creature is likely, and there is the Banishing Hero. Strip Mine is interesting because it could put player in an interesting spot. I think we'll see that here, actually. Because a lot of times the players with these decks will play, like, they'll keep a hand with a single forest, so they could play their Llanowar Elves or some other creature to ramp into, and if you Strip Mine it, here they're stuck with a Fellwar Stone and a Strip Mine. I mean, they do create white, so they have access to their Swords to Plowshare and stuff, but they don't have access now to their Birds of Paradises or any of their green spells, their regrowths. So sometimes I find Strip Mine does put the Armageddon deck into odd positioning if you catch them, and they feel like this kind of caught them here. Okay, Banishing Hero coming in, Factory dropped, and we know there's 2 more Factories in hand, so plenty more to come. Okay. Gonna get a Divine Offering. There goes that, and can just be replaced, though. And Divine Offering gaining no life there, because the Factory has no casting cost. Okay, stripping the other Factory. We know the 3rd Factory will come out. A Forest and 2 Fellwar Stones. Interesting board. One more mana source and Erhnamgeddon's going to come down. Savannah Lion, Regrowth, Strip Mine, Strip Factory, and all 3 of those factories in the graveyard where the opponent wants them. Okay, land tax, which again, the opponent could just not play lands. And there, yep, and exactly as you write it up, the fourth mana comes out, and the Erhnamgeddon comes right out. So the creature beat down will start. Of course, that does trigger land tax, so the opponent is going for the win here. Okay, it's gonna get 3 planes, and then go to draw step, draw a card. Now, if you don't play land and pass, you could get another land tax activation and block the Erhnam. Okay, so I believe that just there skipped the pass turn, attacked with the Erhnam, got swords, gained the life, play out a birds. So at this point, you're definitely not getting another land tax activation, so might as well just play out some of your lands. And have to keep the Armageddon in the back of your mind. Since the opponent has 2 Felwar Stones and the birds, they will be happy to get rid of their lands here. The Banishing Hero did have Forest Walk, even though the Erhnam died. It stays on till the next turn, and there's a Llanowar Elf. Gonna trade off there. Oh, and there's the Armageddon. I mean, the Wrath of God. And an Ivory Tower. Gain 1 life for each card in your hand above 4. So again, I find this one, Ivory Tower might be tough against the white Weenie deck, because ideally the mono white deck is just constantly putting on pressure like this with little creatures, so maybe not that much time to just hoard cards in your hand and gain Ivory Tower life. But we will see. Disenchant the land tax. Okay. Would love to see a Crusade here and just start getting in with some big attacks. The opponent doesn't have anything. Okay. And there is the Armageddon. Such a powerful card. All lands are destroyed. Unbelievable. But again, when you're playing the mono white deck, you only need one planes. You could play out a bunch of your spells. But here is an awesome sideboard card, Sandstorm. So all attacking creatures suffer 1 damage. Looking back at that, probably didn't need to attack with the Javelineer there, because it would have been great to keep it in case they play a Savannah Lion or Birds like they did. But I totally blanked on Sandstorm being a card. And so the Javelineer was destroyed by the sand. Okay, and they have deployed. Both players have after the Armageddon, but here is just the relentless attack of mono white. Here comes the White Knight. Oh boy, and there's a Sarah. From Armageddon to Sarah Angel in like 3 turns. Or 2 turns. Pretty impressive. Let's see if we get a Swords to Plowshare. Nope, we're going to get the land tax. wonder if playing that third planes, I don't remember the match completely, if I was playing towards another Wrath by doing that. Just passing, drawing, passing. Sarah Angel coming in. 2 more turns for the Sarah. And yeah, the Wrath of God again. Dealing with that Sarah Angel. Passing turn. Taking 2. The Whirling Dervish and another Savannah Lion. These are just creature slugfests here. So Whirling Dervish gets through here and gains a 1/1. That's quite a good ability. If you could clear the board with a Swords to Plowshare or something. Here comes double Knights. A lot of protection from black on this board. 3 creatures with no black cards in the decks. Okay. Oh, and an Army of Allah. There it is. So each creature gets +2, and this still leaves a white open if they block the... And another Savannah Lion. That was a huge... See, the Army of Allah is just so sneaky. I mean, you gotta just assume they have it sometimes, but that's an extra 4 damage there that they probably weren't expecting. Okay, now the third creature is going to make them have to make some blocking decisions next turn. Unless there's another card here. Get nothing. Yeah, let them decide what they want to do. Okay. So there was some first strike killing the Dwarvish, and the 2 Savannah Lions killing each other. So here we're getting a pump or pump knight for 3. For lethal, we're going to get a swords in response. Targeting the knight. And then another pump. So only 1 pump will go through there, gain 3 life. Pass turn. You still got a 2-turn clock here. And get a birds. Oh, and a Crusade. Great top deck. Okay. I mean, a lot of outs still. They get top deck. Well, Erhnamgeddon, though, would give the 3/3 White Knight Forest Walk. That'd be bad. So, ideally, like a land card drop here and a Sarah Angel is the best move. Because then they would have a 5/5 Vigilance from the White Knight. Oh, and they have Sarah in hand, but not the mana to play it. Unbelievable, super fun game. I mean, I would love to go back and count how many creatures were in the graveyard for that one. But that was just a total creature slugfest. And definitely kind of the joys of X-Point format. Maybe remember, for me, Magic the Gathering is always... I mean, I play combo and control and all different formats, but creatures are the core of what, when I was younger, Magic was. So to see the Savannah Lions slugging it out with the Erhnamgeddons and Sarahs was a classic, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you try some X-Point. Maybe we'll play one day on webcam, but until then, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. If you want more 1990s Magic the Gathering content, please subscribe to the channel or leave a comment below.